Hi everyone. Please confirm if you can still hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you.
You can indicate with emoji. Okay, thank you. So, thank you for confirming, Andy, and happy to be here with everyone, all the mentees. So, today we are discussing Wikidata, and I don't know if any of you have heard about Wikidata before. We tried to spark some curiosity on the group chats and prepare our minds. So I'm going to run through the slides I have for today. This session is going to be in two parts, today and tomorrow. So we'll have the part two tomorrow. And so we're starting off with the first part today. So thank you very much once again for joining. Um, I would like to share my screen. Please, Andy, can you help grant me sharing rights so I can share my screen on this device?
Okay. I think you're the co-host, so I think okay, I've done that.
Yes, thank you very much. So, let me quickly share my slide so that we're able to all see it. So let me know if it's up.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. Let me put it on the slideshow. All right, so um, like I said earlier, we're discussing Wikidata today. And so I don't know if you have heard about Wikidata before now, but even if you haven't, it's fine. That's why we are on this call. So the idea is that we are going to explore Wikidata all through the training. So first of all, we'll be talking about what is Wikidata. We'll be talking about the components of Wikidata. We try to understand the Wikidata principles, policies, and facts. We also try to learn about the misconceptions around Wikidata. And finally, we'll look at the Wikidata notability guideline. And then we'll take some questions and further discussions, if any. So I would like to crave your indulgence. If you have questions as we proceed on this session, you can type it on the chat or um, write it down somewhere so you don't forget it. And at the end of the session, we'll take all the questions together. So that will help us to run efficiently. Yeah, thank you very much. So I will move to the next slide. So today, at the end of this training, we'll be able to understand what Wikidata is and its usefulness. We'll be able to understand the components and the editing guidelines on Wikidata. And then you'll be also able to be confident in knowledge of the notability guidelines on Wikidata. So let's begin. What is Wikidata? So Wikidata is a free and open knowledge base that is read, edited, and used by both humans and machines. It was launched in October 29th, 2012. So when we say that it is an free and open knowledge base, what we mean is that it is like a bank. The same way we know most of us here are conversant with like the central bank. Yeah, almost every country has a central bank. So at the central bank is like a place where you store money and they perform other um, financial functions. Also, if you have like if you work in a data um, workplace environment. There's like a database for people who are more into IT and all of that. There's a database where you have information stored. So see Wikidata as that knowledge bank that is free and accessible to everyone, where you can find a lot of data about a lot of things. And the amazing part is that this it is not magic. It was put in there by human beings like you and I. So that means you can be able to also contribute. You can also use it, the data that you find there. You can also edit what is there. So three possibilities that you can find on Wikidata: as a user, as an editor, or as a reader. So people go to Wikidata to pull data. Like, for instance, if you're doing a research, for example, you want to find the number of African female scientists, and you don't know a database that can give you that information, you can go on Wikidata, run a query, and you see it pulls automatically within few seconds all the available data on African women scientists. If you have maybe you're doing something about politicians, maybe you're into there's like it's an election period, you just want to know the number of female African politicians that there are, you can find that information on Wikidata. So it's that amazing. Yeah. And you can also edit what is available on Wikidata. So you can be an editor too and contribute by improving what is already existing, or even adding something entirely new. And also, aside humans, we also have robots that also edit on Wikidata. And so Wikidata has been in the scene for a long time now, since 2012 that it was launched. And so the good part of Wikidata is that it stores the data there in a structured format. So there's a particular structure where you'll be able to access any data or information you're looking for. Compared to other Wikimedia projects like Wikipedia, the difference is that on Wikipedia, you likely see articles, sentences, a lot of sentences, pages that you have to read. But on Wikidata, what we just do is a structured format. All you see is the data straight up, and then you can be able to do whatever you want to do with it. So Wikidata, we regard it as a sister project to other wikis. So whenever you hear wiki, you, you know that, okay, yes, you have an idea of what they're talking about. So Wikidata is a sister project to Wikipedia, to Wikimedia Commons, Wikiquotes, Wikivoyage. Each of these wikis have their different functions. But for Wikidata, which we are looking at, is focused on data, strictly data. And we call it free and open because you don't have to pay money. You know, there's some databases that you need to pay money to access. And just recently, I was trying to access some information on a journal. It's an international journal, scientific journal, and I needed to pay to access information there. And so it took me aback because I felt like, oh, this information should have been free and accessible. So the amazing part on Wikidata is that anything you are looking for, provided is existing there, you don't need to pay money to access it. All you just need is an internet connection and a device. And then as you type in on the search bar, it brings the information out for you free. You can do with it whatever you wish. Anybody can access it, whether you're an editor or not, whether you're a member of a community or not, whether you're a Wikimedian or not. A lot of people use the data that we find on Wikidata. So, with a researcher, you are a programmer, software engineer, or software developer, whatever it is, whatever field you are in, you are permitted to use the data and the content that you can find on Wikidata. And so, also to mention this, that Wikidata is under a free license. So, there's no restriction to whatever content. If you are contributing, you are also donating your edits or your contributions for free. Don't expect people to pay you money for the content you are putting there. It's the same way if you're accessing information or looking for a data about something, you are not expecting to pay. So that's how it is. That's how his system runs here. And that's what makes it amazing because it is run by a lot of volunteer support. So when we hear volunteer, you understand that there's no paid, there's no payment attached. It's just people who commit their time, their resources, energy to make knowledge available and free. And so that's what Wikidata is just generally all about. So I hope you're on the same page. So I would like to go to the next slide. So if you come on the Wikidata interface, this is what it looks like. Yeah, this is what it looks like. If you log on to www.wikidata.org, just simply type wikidata.org. It will bring you to an interface like this, something like this. And this is how it looks like. So you will see at the top um, some some links, and this is like the main page where you'll be able to read about the project and any other information you're looking for. And so, just in case you hear it being regarded as a project, yes, it's right. We call Wikidata a project because if you look at the essence and the modalities around it, you see that it's suitable to be named as a project because the contributions are ongoing. Don't worry, we'll get into that when we get to look at the misconceptions of Wikidata. I'll speak more on that. But generally, this is what the interface looks like on Wikidata. So I'll go to my next slide. Um, let's talk about the components, things that you would likely be interacting with. So first of all, this is an interesting part. I like you to pay attention because if you get this part, you'll be able to understand Wikidata. You have it at your fingertips. You know it by heart. So every information that you find on Wikidata is structured and is organized into entities and properties. Anything you find on Wikidata, we regard them as entities and they are organized into structured and organized into entities and properties. So that means an entity can be a place, it can be a person, it can be an abstract topic, it can be a concept, it can be anything at all. So you can create a Wikidata item about anything, provided it is what notable enough. We'll get into that when we try to understand what it means to be notable. So what I want you to get right now is the fact that every information you find on Wikidata is regarded as an entity, right? So that's one. Now the next thing you need to grab is that every entity is called an item and it can represent anything at all. So for you to say this is a Wikidata item, an item can be a person, an item can be a place, an item can be a thing, an item can be an abstract topic, an item can be a concept. Now, when you have an item, it's usually a combination of statements, which is properties and values. So for instance, let me give you a typical example. If we say an item is about a human being, and let's say which African woman can we use? Let's use Okonjo Iweala, for example. She's an African woman. So if we create an item on Wikidata about Ngozi Okonjo Iweala, for it to be regarded as an item, we have to supply some information that speak more about the subject, which is Okonjo Iweala. So you have to tell us maybe what is her date of birth, is she male or female, her country of citizenship, her occupation, sex or gender. I've talked about that. You know, these are what you'll be able to use to build up more information about the item. So usually you also have a label and a description. So the label is basically telling us what is the name, the title of this item, and the description is like a one-line sentence speaking about the item. And so you're trying to say, okay, for this item, anybody who comes across it will be able to see the label and the description. So the label is just the name of the item, the name of the entity, if you want to put it that way. And a description, remember I said a description is just a one line sentence briefly describing the item, briefly describing the entity. Now, also, when we look at property, property is what we use to define the characteristics of an item. So, for instance, if an item is a human being, right, then you have properties that could include country of citizenship, date of birth, occupation, sex or gender. These are properties. So basically, properties are those things that are used to define the item more and more. You get? So properties are what add more information to the item. Without properties, you will not have enough understanding about what the item is. Do you get? So that's what properties are. So now when you hear statement, oh, statement is a combination of a property and a value. So if the item is about Bola Tinubu, for example, which is a human being, the property will be occupation, and then the value will be he's a politician. You get the drift. So this is how it works. We have an item about a human being, but we need to build up statements about it so we'll be able to know the human being more and there'll be information. And so for you to do that, you need some properties that help to define it and the values. So if you say Donald Trump is a human being, how do we know? A property you can use is that is instance of the value will be human being. Sorry for that. So let me share my slide again. Let me share. Um, yeah. Let me know if it's up. Okay. So I should put it on the slideshow back. So yeah, I was speaking about properties, values, statements. Three important things. So if you understand what an item is, it means that an item is a combination of statements. And for you to build a statement, you have to make properties and values merged. Like you have to combine property and a value. And so you have several properties that used to define it. Now, let me give you an example out of Wikidata. A human body is made up of head, eyes, necks, um, legs, tongue, mouth, teeth, and all of that. For you to be able to properly describe a human body, you have to use these properties. They are parts of the body. Those are what make up the human body. And so, in Wikidata equivalents, the human being is the item, the parts of the body are the properties. You get? So, if you don't have properties and values, you cannot be able to properly define an item. So if a human being does not have different parts of the body, is not fit to be a human being. So that's like something I just thought of that you'll be able to use to relate and understand better the whole item property statement and all of that. So I hope that sinks very well. Now, another important thing is that Wikidata is multilingual. It's not only in English. You can find information or you can even contribute. It's stored in multiple languages. This is because we aim to promote, English, who do not speak French, who do not speak Spanish, African language, Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, Luganda, um, any language you speak, you can add and contribute information in that language. Also, I can be able to find information in other languages too. So just in case I'm not conversant with French, I'll find information in English, and people who don't know English can find information in their own language. So So you can find data in multiple languages aside your own language. So that's how it works on Wikidata. And also you can contribute in your own language too. So without just sticking to only English. A lot of people think that Wikidata is just English, English, English alone. So it's a combination of several languages. Yeah. Also, um, Wikidata has identifiers. So these identifiers are like unique codes we use to store the data. If you go to a library, for example, you see that some well-organized libraries, they have catalogs, and in those catalogs, they have some unique codes that they use to group books, resources, materials, and all that there is in the library, so that it's very organized and well differentiated. The same thing applies on Wikidata. It's amazing that whenever you have an item, you cannot have similarities with the same ID. So we have what we call the unique ID. So that unique ID is assigned to every Wikidata item. It's a combination of the letter Q and then some numbers. If you create or you are creating a new item about something on Wikidata, automatically it will assign the ID. It will automatically assign the ID to it. You don't even need to do it by yourself. Automatically it assigns the unique identifier. This is because there are possibilities that there are similarities or likely items. So it does this to be able to distinguish these items from one another. So, and like I said, a combination of what? The letter Q and then other numbers. You get? So that's how it works. It can be Q101, Q442, Q whatever. So yeah, it starts with the Q and then followed by numbers. Then we have references, the amazing part. These references, we do it to ensure accuracy. Every information, every data you're adding to Wikidata, make sure that you have a reliable source that backs it up. Make sure that you are not adding something out of your head. Make sure that where you get the information is not from maybe these gossip blogs or unreliable websites. We only accept information that are from reliable sources. I'll speak on that briefly very soon, just so that you get conversant with the reliable sources. The sources that we use as our references are books that have been published and accessible online, journals. These are examples of you can use journals, you can use official websites, you can use newspaper publications that are reputable. Um, there's some active them and use them as your reference. So these are the sources that you can use for you can regard as reliable sources that you can use for your references. So I'll move to the next slide. So this is a graphical, image that shows what an item is and every other thing. So on here, I don't know if you can still see my screen. On here we have this is an item about Douglas Adams. This is the label. Remember what I said? The label is what? The title of the entity. Now, this is an entity. Douglas Adams is an entity. Obviously, he's a human because this is a short description here. It says English writer and humorist. Now, next thing, just on the same line of the label, that's the name of the entity, is the unique identifier, which is Q42. So anytime you type in Q42, it's going to bring out this Douglas Adams for you. There is no other, even if there's somebody else who bears Douglas Adams, it will not have the same unique identifier. The QID would be different. So that if you have 5 or 10 Douglas Adams, you will not you will not have the same, you will not find the same information on it. So that's a way to distinguish multiple or closely related or similar entities. Now, next, you see the statements I talked about. That these statements are what describe Douglas Adams more. So anybody who comes across it, be able to understand who Douglas Adams is. So you see a property saying he educated literature, and the degree he bagged was a Bachelor of Art degree. Now you see that this box here has added more information beyond just us knowing that he attended St. Oh wow, Douglas Adams educated at St. John's College in 1974 with a Bachelor of Arts degree. You see also, where can you find this information available online? Having these references is that you can verify if this is true or false. Yes. So it gives you a reference here, you can add. Also, it tells us that he also attended Brentwood School. Douglas Adams also attended Brentwood School. He started in 1969 and ended in 1970. Yeah. And so this type of reference is an open reference where you can be able to see all the details here. Reference URL is when it was retrieved, the publisher, and then the title of the work. But when it's like this, it's called a collapsed reference. So that's just the difference between an open reference and a collapsed reference. When we get into practical demo and editing by tomorrow, I will show you all of these things with clear examples. Live demo we're going to have. So you'll be able to see and appreciate it more. And then you're able to do it by yourself too. So I'm going to go to the next slide. Now, let's talk about the principles, the policies, facts about Wikidata. Number one, Wikidata is a collaborative project. It relies heavily on contributions from volunteers from different communities. All over the world, so many people volunteer their time are committed to making sure that knowledge is available and free. So it is a collab. That's why we call it a collaborative project. They edit, they add information, and also fact check what is already represented there as information. So that way, we ensure that every information, every data you find on Wikidata is what reliable. Secondly, Wikidata must be verifiable and supported by reliable sources. So therefore, statements that you add should also be referenced. Whenever you put up an information, endeavor to add a reference. Where did you get it? What is your source? Your source must be reliable. So add a reliable source to it, and that makes it great. Next is that we uphold the principle of a neutral point of view, meaning whenever you are putting an information, you are trying to edit, you are having a discussion, make sure that you drop your bias. Don't bring your opinion. Don't bring your bias. If there's a conflict of interest, it is best and advised that you maybe if the person if the entity is a close relative or if it's about a company where you work actively in, for you to avoid, you should make sure that if you know that you can hold the principle of NPOV, neutral point. So it means that nobody should bring in their bias. Whatever it is, what all we want is facts. We don't want your opinion. We don't want your bias because if everybody begins to bring in their bias and contribute according to how they feel, emotions, their own biases, prejudice, personal opinions, it doesn't actively present the essence of the project. Data. Yes, sorry, I don't know. My stop sharing just like that. I have to reshare again. Okay, just a minute. So as we were speaking about the bias, so try to uphold the principle of the MPOV. Make sure that whatever information you're putting up is from a neutral point, a neutral perspective. It makes everything easier and better for everyone. Also, the data and information, the data and information. Okay, so the data and information you get on Wikidata is structured and is widely reused by so many people. There are people who develop apps, there are people who build websites. They come to Wikidata to extract their data from. There are people who are researchers, they are embarking on a research, they get that information from Wikidata. So you know that you should have it in mind that everything you have on Wikidata is not just for you alone. A lot of people come to use it all over the world. Also, this helps to enhance the wide application of the stored knowledge. You see that Wikidata is like a global project. So the more contributions we have, the more people get to um, use it, the more it becomes more impactful to everyone all over the world. And this also enhances the wide application of this stored knowledge. I'll go to the next slide. Misconceptions of Wikidata. First of all, Wikidata is not Wikipedia. People think that Wikidata is Wikipedia. Like I said earlier, Wikidata and Wikipedia, they are different projects that are maintained by the Wikimedia Foundation. The difference, the simple and easiest way to differentiate is that for Wikidata, it is a structured data repository, but for Wikipedia, is an online encyclopedia. It has articles, and pages on Wikipedia. But on Wikidata, what you just see is a structured data format. Let's call it a data bank. So that's the key difference. Second misconception, people think that Wikidata is unreliable. But no, Wikidata is reliable. The fact that it is human beings who add this information, who contribute, who edit it, doesn't make it unreliable. That is the essence of having a community-driven guideline that we get to follow. Secondly, we have humans who fact check and validate the data that is being added, and other robots that also do some maintenance to ensure that the data remains reliable. Whenever you find something that is not notable enough and that is not reliable, it gets deleted. And you can also nominate an item on Wikidata for deletion, provided that it doesn't meet the criteria for what notability. Next thing, people say that Wikidata is a finished project, but as you can see, Wikidata is not a finished project. There are so many things that are yet to be added, so many gaps that are existing that need to be updated and improved. So it is never a finished project. We rely on community effort to make sure that things are being added constantly and make sure that everybody gets to benefit. So that's why we're having this training to get to onboard all of you guys so that you become contributors as well. There are so many gaps. Some people like to major on adding cultural information. Some people say, okay, no, they like to add information about their heritage and culture. Some people, historical facts. Some people, scientific knowledge. Some people, you can choose a field. You can add information about notable men, notable women, notable persons, notable places, and all of that. Also, people say that Wikidata is only for a certain type of data, but no, Wikidata is not limited to a specific thing. It covers a wide range of topics. You can add information about places, about people, about things, about concepts, abstract topics, about research, about a study that was done, about events that happened. So you can add data for all of these things. You get? So the last misconception I have here, people say that Wikidata is only for Wikimedia projects, but that's not true because Wikidata is actually freely accessible to anyone. You can use it not just for Wikimedia projects only. So I hope this bring more clarifications to what Wikidata is even about. So we don't go with the misconceptions. Next slide I'm running. So this is where I get to talk about the notability guideline on Wikidata. So first things first, when we say notability, we are trying to say, okay, what can we consider as notable to stay something that is useful enough, something that is um, impactful enough, some helpful enough. When we say notability, we're trying to say, this data you want to add, this information you want to add, is it backed up with reliable sources? Can you prove it? Is it reusable? Is it something that can stand the test of time? Is it even verifiable in the first place? So these are the things we consider in notability. Also, does it have site links like maybe articles or other pages that links that is connected to? These are the things we consider for notability. So whether it is a human being, yeah, if the entity is a human being or a thing or a place, a, an abstract topic, whatever it is, it has to be notable. So we have three criteria mainly, but on Wikidata, the notability is that if you meet at least one of these, any of these criteria, we can say, we can regard you as, or we can regard the entity as being notable. So first criteria, if it contains at least one valid site link to a page on Wikipedia, Wikivoyage, Wikisource, Wikiquotes, Wikinews, Wikibooks, Wikidata, Wikispecies, Wikiversity, or Wikimedia Commons. Now, what it means is that if the Wikidata item is connected, it has a site link that connects to any other wiki at all, then it's considered what? Notable. So all these wikis that I mentioned here, if you have an entity that is connected,
Okay, I think okay. Yeah, so I see there.
Recording in progress.
okay, so thank you very much. So I was speaking about the notability for,
You have to learn something new.
yeah,
Emoji. Just react. Let's see. Use one of the best emojis to react. Thank you. So, so how you can have the mic now.
okay, thank you. Um, so we're speaking about the notability guidelines, and I was saying that first thing, it can be considered notable if your entity is linked to another wiki project like Wikipedia or Wikivoyage or Wikisource, Wikiquotes, and all of this. I'll show you tomorrow in the live demo how you can add these site links. So if you have a Wikipedia page about that Wikidata item, you can link it together. So, and it is regarded notable. Secondly, it can also be regarded notable if it is clearly an identifiable conceptual or material entity that can be described using serious and publicly available references. What this means simply is that we say we will consider your Wikidata item entity notable if you have references that are publicly available to prove it. So not just it will not just be a claim, it will be a fact. If you add those reliable sources, it makes it easier. Anybody can just go there and verify it. So if you add a reliable sources that is publicly available, we regard it notable. And then finally, if it fulfills a structural need, for example, if you need it to make statements about another item that is more useful, then we consider that item regarded and we consider it notable. So these are three, any of these criteria that it meets, then we can say your Wikidata item is regarded notable. But if it doesn't meet any of these criteria, then um, it will likely be deleted. It will likely be requested or marked for deletion. This is done to ensure that whatever we have is from a reliable source, is verifiable, and is a fact. It's not just a claim. Today that we have the emergence of AIs and so many sources of informations, we just want to maintain and be sure that whatever we have on the Wikidata project, because a lot of people come to Wikidata, they use the information there. So be sure that what we have there is reliable. You know how crazy it would be to have a project as big and impactful as Wikidata, and then the contents are not reliable. So we encourage that if you are putting anything, you are adding, you are editing, you are creating a new item on Wikidata, make sure you first do a research, verify that this thing has resources to back it up, and these sources are not from unreliable um, places. They are from verifiable and reliable places. Like I mentioned, you can use newspapers, reputable. You can use libraries, books, magazines, reliable magazines, notable magazines, not the ones that have bias and spread gossips. You can also use journals and the information from archives that are online. So yeah, these are sources that you can get your information from, and they're good to go. So also, one last, make sure that whenever you are working on Wikidata, try to do a background check. For example, if you want to create an item, which we'll do that maybe tomorrow, try to see how you can do your background check online. Gather sources that speak about this. For example, if you're creating an item about a human being, go do a Google search, check for reliable sources that speak well about the item, not just a passing mention. Maybe they have key information data that you need, and then go ahead to now create. If you want to improve an existing information, you want to update it. For example, if so person died and you want to update that data so that it will be, current, what you need to do is simply go to a go to your search, maybe your Google, Bing, or whatever search engine you use. Find a reliable source that speaks about, oh, when this person died and possibly the cause of the illness, if the person was sick, or if there was an accident, or if whatever it is that happened, what was the cause of death. Find these informations, come to Wikidata, and then you can add them up. Makes it better and easy, so you not be up for deletion. So you don't feel bad that, oh, I made a contribution and it was deleted. The reason is because maybe you didn't add a reliable source, or there was no valid site link that was on that Wikidata item linking to any other wiki, or it did not fulfill any structural need. So that's why it will be deleted. So the next thing we have now is questions. So I'm going to pause here. If you have questions, we can take some questions now. In fact, we can take all the questions now before we proceed to what we have next. So the floor is open now. You can type your questions in the chat. You can also unmute to speak. So I will stop sharing for now. Yeah, so we can interact now.
Okay, please, if you have a question, ask now so we can proceed. I hope you all are enjoying the session, you're following, and you're learning something new. So if you're not clear about something, please go ahead and ask. You can also contribute. So should we move ahead? Okay. Ramatu Badamasi says, thank you so much for the session. Please, how would I know an item is created? You know, so
Okay, I see. Ramato says, how would an create? So basically, on Wikidata, if you want to know an item to create, we have a search box that you can search for anything if it's existing already. Existing, there's no point to create on it.
okay,
What you can do is
you
to,
show them that.
yes, let me share my screen and show you on the interface. Um, just a moment.
You're going to show them tomorrow, but just to be clear, so it will be more clear. Just
Yeah.
share your screen while you show them on Wikidata how to search. Okay, thank you.
So let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes.
So I'm on Google. I will type in my URL, which is .org. Once you type this in, to the land, the main page. So on this main page, this is what it looks like. So at the top here, you see if you have an account, you can create your account if you don't have an account. But I see that a number of us already have an account, so you can choose to log in. Because I'm logged in, this is where my username is displayed, and this is the search box where you can search for anything that you want. So if you come on to the URL, the link, wikidata.org, confirm that you are logged in so that whatever contribution you make, you can it can be linked to your account. Say, okay, so and so person made this contribution to open knowledge. So on this search, you now what is existing. If there are duplicates, we merge them together. If you confirm that they are duplicates indeed, we merge them together. But aside that, there's no point. For instance, I want to create an item about a person who can give me a suggestion on the chat. Um, do you have anybody in mind? You ask the question, Ramatu. If you have a name, you can type it on the chat. So let me just say Ramatu, for instance, Ramatu Badamasi. Yeah. So you see, it tells you no match was found. If you search, you want to search for everything. You see, there's no match found. Then you can say, it says you may create a new item. So you can click on this blue hyperlink, this blue link hyperlink here, and it leads you to the interface where you can create an item. But if it's that is existing, now let me search for something that is existing. Obviously, we have an African woman. Let me say Ngozi Konjo. So you see, it's existing Okonjo, Ngozi Okonjo Iweala. So there's no point. You can see how the interface is. It's a structured format. There's no um, article here to read. What you just have here is data information. You have the label. Now, see all the languages that it's existing. In case you're not fluent, conversant, you don't understand English, we have information about this entity. Now, this is an entity. This is the unique identifier, which is the QID. Is the identifier is Q289350. Whenever I type this on, if I type in Q289350, 9350. If I type it here, you can search with QIDs. You can also search with names. When you type in the QID, this is the only Ngozi Okonjo you ever find on Wikidata. That's why it's unique. So we also have the these are the labels: English, Hausa, Igbo, Afrikanese, Aragonese, Arabic. These are all the languages that information have been stored. Even Hebrew, you can see it. Then we have a description for it. It's just simple sentence that just tells you and gives you an idea of what this is about. So Nkunwala is the general of World Trade Organization, WTO. Most of you should be familiar with that. So if you want to add your own language, if you check down here and your language is not captured here, you can add it. But I don't want to go into that today. I want that to be for tomorrow when we'll do sessions. We start from maybe simple things you can do to the maybe intermediate and the bit complex things you can do on Wikidata. But today is just giving you a background overview so that when we meet tomorrow, we can run straight without confusions. So also still you can scroll down, you'll be able to see now statements, like I spoke earlier. So this the first statement here is instance of is always the first statement you should use. You always find on an entity, on an item. It tells you what is this entity. Is it a human being? Is it a place? Is it a thing? Is it an organization? So you can add, you see, it's in a structured format. Everything here is in a structured format. It also has references. These are the closed references. If I click on it, it will open up. This is the open references. It tells you, oh, this was imported from so and so place. This thing is stated in database of cabinet politics in sub-Saharan Africa. If I want, I can now click on these links to verify that this Ngozi Okonjo is truly a human being. Next, we have is an image of Ngozi Okonjo. This is who she looks like. And this image is gotten from Wikimedia Commons. Also, we have a video where Ngozi Okonjo was. So this is the video. And sex or gender, it says that it's female. It's female. And there are like 3 references to prove it. So you can click on these references to verify she's Nigerian, the country of citizenship. So each of these, let me go up. Starting from this instance of is a property. Human is the value. Image is the property. This is the value of the image. So that's how it works. You have to, for you to describe the entity, you need like a property and a value. It's like a pair. It has to go that way. You can never find a property without a value. You cannot add a property without a value. You cannot add a value without a property. That's how it works. So this sex or gender now is what is a property, and the value is that she's female. So her country of citizenship is property. The value is that she's Nigerian. Her name in the native language is Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and she's Igbo. Igbo is a cultural ethnic group in Nigeria. Her given name is Ngozi. Her family name is Okonjo and Iweala. Okonjo comes first, Iweala comes second. So all of these things are just trying to add more information to the entity who is Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. So I hope I explained, answered your question. So whenever you want to search, before you even add anything, before you create anything, make sure first things first, you search if it's existing. If, as we search for this now is existing, you now go ahead to say, okay, how can I add something that is not here? I'll check. So she has a lot. This Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala item has a lot. Now, when I spoke about site links, let me also use this to explain site links, what it means. So this is what site link means. Now, just if you scroll down to any Wikidata item, you see these links here: Wikipedia, Wikibooks, Wikinews, Wikiquotes, Wikisource, and Wikiversity. So this item now, would you say it is notable or not? Put your answer on the chat. I want to know if you are following. Do you think this item is notable? For, considering what we've discussed. So I want everybody to respond on the chat. If it's notable, type yes. If it's not notable, say no. So these are the site links. So you can read about peer group. You can read about Ngozi Okonjo in other languages like English, Arabic, all of these languages. I click on it. These also quotes that Ngozi Okonjo have said. They are documented on Wiki quotes here. So you can check and read about Wiki Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's quotes on Wiki quotes. So you see. So let me know what you think. Is Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala's item notable? Should it be nominated for deletion? You yourself, and the amazing part is that you can check. If you can look at an item and say, this item is notable. If I look at it, three things we said. It's either if I don't find any reliable source, I check the references that they attached to them. If they're not reliable, I'll check if it doesn't have any site link and doesn't meet any structural needs, then I can nominate it for deletion. But when I check and it does, then I improve. If deletion, you can see where I place my mouse. I'll come to the top here, more. When I click on more, you see request deletion. And I click on request deletion. They ask me to put a reason why I'm requesting this deletion. And I'll say, so this item, I'll just put a one line sentence there. And that's all. It will be reviewed by another administrator and then to be finally deleted. So if I want to merge, maybe somebody created Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala item more than once. There's a duplicate. I want to merge it with another one. I will also click on this more option here, and I'll merge it with the duplicate so that the informations will be together in one item. So that's how it works. Go to pause here and see if you have responses to the questions and if you got it right. More questions can come in.
Okay, we have another question here from Emilia. He said, "What if an existing item ex what if an item exists but it is misspelled?" So can you hear me? Can anyone hear me?
No, I didn't get your question.
Okay, we have another question here in the chat from Emilia. She asks what if an existing item is misspelled? What can be done about that?
You can do a page move. Let me share my screen and show you. Let me go back to this Okonjo-Iweala. So for example, if her name is Ngozi Ngozie, so ZI, right? But somebody typing or improving or creating this item about this entity makes a mistake. You can correct it. What you just need to do is make sure that you're logged in. Click on this edit button here. You can see where I'm hovering around. Don't mind me, my interface might look different from yours because I installed a lot of scripts and I have a couple of things on my preferences. So, but we can walk you through that maybe tomorrow. So you can just click on this edit, and I can change. You see, I can make added IE. So if you do this, you just click on publish, but I'm not publishing it. See, I'm not publishing it. So this is how you can be able to correct the spelling of a name. So I don't know. I hope I answered your question.
Okay, me, I have my own question. Or did I miss something? If you correct from what you just showed us, I think we are just correcting this one. Does it reflect on the title itself after publishing?
Yes, whatever change you make, it reflects automatically. Immediately you click on publish, it would publish it automatically for you. So doesn't matter if you have if you change a word, a sentence, anything you make, it will reflect. So be sure that whatever edit you're making, make sure that you're doing the right thing. Also, like I said, these changes are being patrolled. So we have people who are called patrollers. We have people who are called administrators who periodically they are checking and verifying that whatever you're doing is accurate. You're improving and you're not causing, you know, havoc. You're not vandalizing. Vandalism is a word, popular word we use. So it means that somebody is trying to, when you say this person is doing a vandalism, it means that you are not contributing positively. You are putting either wrong informations or you are trying to distort the arrangement. You are putting unreliable sources or there's bias and all of that. So try to avoid any of these things I've mentioned while you are contributing your editing. Yeah, you can type your questions if you don't want to speak. I will check the chat box to see if I have more questions here. Let me know if I missed anyone. Andy. Okay, somebody says maybe about a food. Okay, yes, you can. Let me show you an item about a food. I'll show you an item about a food, about a place, about a person. Okay, we've done about the person. So what food should we search for? Let me say, um, what's a popular soup. Okay, egusi soup. So this is a food. It's a popular Nigerian soup made made of grounded egusi and ingredients. It is also known as what? Melon soup. You can see, first things first, at the top of your screen, you see the label, you see the unique identifier, you see the descriptions, even in other languages. There's so many languages that's been entered here: English, Hausa, Igbo, Spanish, Korean, Catalan too as well. Then um, statements. This is where you see what I spoke about earlier. These are the properties, these are the values. By your left hand side, you see the properties, instance of, subclass of, image. So if you've never seen egusi soup before, this is what it looks like. This is the melon seed. This is the basic raw material used to make egusi. Also, this is what it looks like when it's served with in a plate, and this is a pot. Also, if you scroll down, you see where it's originated from. It's originated from Nigeria. Um, it is made from fish, beef, palm oil, peppercorn, onion, table salt, and then you eat it. So these are just information about anything. You can also search for information about a place, like let's say Paris, or how you guys pronounce it, Paris. Okay, so I should type, and then it is the capital of France. As you can see, it is the most populous city in France. It's also called City of Life. Some people call it City of Love. And this is an information that you find about Paris. This is the logo, um, image. Also, one other thing, when I click on View History at this top here, I'll be able to see everybody who has ever contributed to this item about Paris. Look at it, and the date and timestamp. So you can see, and you can even see exactly what they contributed. So this person contributed to Paris on the 4th of February, 2026. The person removed over 602,000 bytes. And then so many people who have ever contributed. You can see their usernames here. So you can also see that is always, if you want to, this is on the read mode already. So this is how it works. I saw a question earlier on the chat. I think I missed it. What are those green ticks? I think which green ticks are you referring to? I don't know if you can unmute or if you can type in to explain better. Is that blessing? Yeah. There's a question on the chat asking what are those green ticks. So yeah, while we wait for Blessing to clarify the question, you can also ask more. You can also unmute your mic to speak if you want to. I could stop sharing for now. So for today, we've been able to cover a number of things, and we've been able to understand what Wikidata is, how you can contribute, know the components of Wikidata. You've known the policies and principles and facts. You've also known the, as I explained earlier, very important, the neutral point of view principle. Make sure that you're not contributing with any form of bias. Make sure that you're just putting facts there and you're adding reliable sources as references. Make sure that um, you do your background check before you make any contributions. You've understood what an item is, understood what a property is, understood what a statement is, identifiers, and references. Now, since we don't have questions, I have questions for you. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to ask you to tell me what these things are. So give me a sec. I'll share my screen and then I'll try to, I want you to let me know. So this is, let me change. I'm going to search for something else. So, hmm, so Africa. Now, this is an item about Africa. So who is going to tell us what is the unique identifier? What is the unique identifier for Africa, the QID? If you know it, you can type it on the chat. I just want to know if we are following, if we understand fully. So if you don't need to speak, just type. If you have the answer, you can type on the chat. What is the unique identifier for Africa? Okay, I see some responses already. So yes, the correct answer is Q15. So anytime you type Q15 anywhere on the Wikidata platform, you are going to definitely see Africa. Now, the next question: what is the label for Q15? So let me explain. Let me ask. I'll put more context to the question. The question is, what is the English label for Q15? Okay, I see responses here. People say Africa, Africa, Africa. Yes, it is correct. So Africa is the correct label. Now, like I told you earlier, you can add your label in your own language, your indigenous language. If it's not yet added, you can also do it. So Africa is correct. My next question, what is the, okay, I'm going to rephrase it so that it won't be too easy to get. So what's the value of, okay, let me go down and let me tweak it a little. See what I can ask. So yeah, is confirm if you can still see my screen. So at the top of my screen here, I have something that says detail map, and there's a picture of a map. Now, between the detail map and the picture of the map, which one is the property and which one is the value? So your answer, if you are answering, you say, is detail map the property or is detail map the value? Okay, I'm seeing some responses here. So detail map is a property, detail map is property. Okay, okay. So I think um we get it now. So the properties, always remember the properties are on the left side, the value is on the right hand side. Now I'm going to ask a tricky question here. Pay attention. I'm going to go back to another. Let me see. Let me start from here. So let me use another property. So I should use. Let me use a totally different. Okay. Let me use a totally different one. So what is the name of this entity? If you can see my screen, what is the name of this entity? What is the name of the entity? What is the entity that you can see on this page? Okay, I see some responses already. People saying pounded yam, pounded yam, pounded yam. Yes, pounded yam. If you say pounded yam, it's correct. Like I told you, remember I said it. The entity is the, it can be a place, person, thing, whatever it is. And now, so everything here, an item is made up of what? Statements. So it's a combination of properties and values that make up statements, and statements make up an item. So that's how it works. So now I want to ask one more question just to be sure that you understand. So I'm going to open this reference here. Let me find another. Mm, So look at this. This is country, and this is Nigeria. This is reference. This is reference URL, and this is the reference to verify that this food is a Nigerian food. You can find it from Nigeria. So now look at this reference. I'm hovering the where my mouse is hovering around. Is it a closed or open reference? Is it a closed or an open reference? Just type in your answer on the chat. You don't have to wait for someone else. You can type in your answer. Okay, I see some responses already. You said open reference, open reference, open reference. Okay, if you typed in open reference, then you are correct. This is an open reference. So an open reference, you can see the drop down arrow, but a closed reference, the arrow is looking at the right, forward right. But for open reference is drop down, closed is like this. So that's the difference. Okay, maybe we can do one more question. Let me search for a totally different entity, a totally different item. What could I search for possibly? Okay, okay. Do we have Ghanaians here in this call? If you're Ghanaian, signify. So this is Bank of Africa, is a commercial bank in Ghana. Now, this is my question. How many statements can you see on the screen currently? How many statements can you see on the screen? So I see responses already. A lot of people are choosing 4. Are you sure 4 is the correct answer? So yeah, if you chose 4, you're right. 4 is the correct answer. We have the first statement I'm showing currently is the statement about the industry where this bank is. And it says a financial service. Inception, which is 1997. Country, Ghana. Headquarter location, Accra. Now, maybe I can ask one last question. So, okay, let me search for something else. Um, does anybody know a popular African dance that we can search for, or a music even? You can on Wikidata you can find information about music, dance, culture, traditional food, traditional dances. Um, you can add data information about basically anything. Okay, somebody says Roomba, so let me search for Roomba. So I'm on the search bar, I'm typing Roomba. So do you mean this dance? Um, anyway, can you confirm this is the Roomba? When we type Roomba on the search bar, you see a lot of options on drop down. So we see Roomba, a dance that appeared in the East. We see music genre originating from Cuba. We see music genre and type of dance. There's Congolese Roomba, there's Catalan Roomba, there's Roomba as a music genre. Then there is so Congolese. Okay, so that means this is one you mean. So now, can you tell us the unique identifier for this um Congolese Roomba? What is the unique identifier here? If you can see my screen and you know it, you can type it on the chat. Okay, I'm seeing some responses. So if you typed in Q345315, this is the unique identifier. The simple and easiest way to remember a unique identifier, the QID, a QID is that it is always located on the same line as the label or the name of the entity. You see it, and it starts with letter Q. So this is it. So now, this is a Congolese. It's an okay. It's an African music and dance, right? Okay. So I'm looking for yes. I found something I want to ask. So um, I'm going to this what I highlighted in blue. Can you see the highlight? What is it called? This part. I'm hovering around this. So if you know it, you can tell us the name. What is it called? This part I'm hovering around and highlighting. What is it called? The part I'm hovering around and I'm highlighting. Just the part I'm hovering around and highlighting. What is it called? So I see an answer is Chandapiwa says it's called a qualifier. Ramatu says it's value. Um, Ingrid says value. Kenyiwe says qualifier. Okay, so I'll give you the answer. If you chose qualifier, yeah, correct. If you chose value, it's incorrect. Like I said earlier, qualifiers are what add extra information to the value. So the value, as you can see here, the I'm hovering around it. The property is intangible cultural heritage status. The value is that it is a representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. And these qualifiers are giving more details, adding more information to the value. So yes, I'm going to pause here for now. I think a lot of us understand. And then last question, what is this part called? All of this. I'm going to hover around it again and just show only what I want you to see. So what is this part called? What you can see on my screen. What is it called? All of this. This part that has Wikipedia, Wikibooks, Wikinews, Wikiquotes, Wikisource, Wikivasti, Wikivoyage, multilingual sites, and Wiktionary. What is it called? I said it severally during the training. So if you know the answer, you can put it in the chat. This is the last question. So I hope somebody gets it right. What is it called? The whole of this part. You will always find it on any Wikidata item. Always, you always find it. These headings, all of them. No answer, no response yet. I'm looking at the chat. What is it called? Okay, call of time. I'll give you the answer. The answer is they're called site links. So when you get to the bottom of every Wikidata item, you will see them, these headings, Wikipedia, Wikibooks. So whenever you have an item and you see these things, they're called site links. From this, you can go to, I told you that Wikidata is connected to all the projects that you have on Wikimedia. That's Wikipedia, Wikibooks, and all of that. So this Congolese Rumba now, it has an article on English Wikipedia, Dagbani Wikipedia, Spanish, French, and all these languages. So you can connect them. So all of these things are called site links. Site links, that's the correct answer. So don't forget, always you will find it. And this is a determining factor, like I mentioned in the notability guideline, to know if this or any item is notable. Check if it has site links that are connected to it. If it can be either Wikipedia site links or can be Wikisource site links or it can be Wikivoyage site links. Let me show you the one of the we search for Ngozi. Think yes, she has site links on Wikipedia. She has site links on Wikiquotes. She has site links on yes. So you see, these are the site links that Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has. So she has site links on Wikiquotes. She has site links on Wikipedia. So these are called site links. So yeah, this I will draw the curtain here. I think we've had a great session today, and then looking forward to tomorrow. I would send, I'll post a task that will be like a form of an assignment before we meet for the session tomorrow. You do well to complete the task. I'll post the question on the group chat, and then you supply me the answers. And tomorrow we'll meet same time. So do well to attend and join in early as well. So if we don't have further questions, we can call it a day. Thank you very much to everyone and the facilitators as well. I will stop sharing now.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for your active participation today. And also a big thank you to our trainer for taking us through the session. And I hope you learned something new and you probably unlearned or relearned something today. So we really appreciate our trainer. So as a reminder, you already mentioned an assignment. Yes, there will be an assignment after each session. So we encourage everyone to participate actively. And also there's a dashboard that was created for the mentees. So if you've not joined the dashboard yet, I'm going to post it again on the group. Please kindly join the dashboard so all your contributions will be tracked during this mentorship program. So once again, thank you so much. Further updates and resources will be shared through our WhatsApp group. So from me, bye. See you same time tomorrow. Please try and join on time. Thank you very much. So before we go, please let's take a screenshot. So if you're comfortable turning on your camera, please do so. Thank you.